Hi there. I'm going to keep this short and focused because it's breaking news in progress, but we just got a fresh batch of spy photos from House of the Dragon Season 2 filming in northern Wales, which appear to give our first glimpse of the Dragonseeds, the Targaryen bastards who become dragon riders. This is a major new set of characters, a major new subplot in the ongoing story. A short version, if you're not familiar with the books. Remember in the Season 1 finale at the War Council when Daemon gives an inventory of all the dragons and says, technically our side has 13. But then Rhaenyra counters, well, 6 of them are riderless. Where are we going to find that many new riders? Because you need to have Valyrian blood to bond with a dragon. It's this magical, mystical bond from keeping the bloodline pure, going back to old Valyria, so either Targaryen or Velaryon, you need to be of Valyrian blood in order to bond with one of them. Game of Thrones didn't really stress this enough with Jon Snow, because it was just so obvious that why wasn't anyone asking how he bonded with a dragon is stupid, that you instantly go, well, he can only be a Targaryen somehow. They're the only ones who can do that. That they need to stress the only way he was able to bond with a dragon is because his biological father is Rhaegar Targaryen. So, the problem they're facing now with Rhaenyra's faction is all of the legitimate Targaryens are already bonded with dragons. For the first time, there's more dragons than there are legitimate Targaryens. Well, what about illegitimate Targaryens? Bastards or descendants of bastards from among the commoners in the fishing villages around Dragonstone and Driftmark. And it's not just you think, oh, one of the people that was in Season 1 had a bastard. This is going back generations that if your grandfather didn't know who his parents were, but he has silver hair, so you think you might have like an 8th Targaryen blood in you or something. They put out this open call for any bastards anyone who thinks you might have bastard blood in you from the Targaryens. Oh, and I know yes, Rhaena doesn't have a dragon, she has an egg, it will hatch eventually, but even then, that's one potential rider versus we have 6 of these things. So they put out an open call for all the bastards, and I went back and checked. Almost 70 people try. Now, not necessarily all of them had Targaryen blood. Some of this was just, oh, you might not need Targaryen blood, you do. Some just tried and failed. And ultimately it says 16 people died, 48 were seriously injured, and that's not just among people trying their luck when they know who their parents were, they know they couldn't have Targaryen blood. Even ones who were very blatantly Targaryen bastards, who looked Targaryen with silver hair, many of them were killed as well. That isn't a guarantee. Because dragons are fickle. No one really knows why they ultimately bond with the riders that they do. That many who were clearly Targaryen bastards ended up being killed or rejected. Adam and Alan of Hull. Adam was rejected. No, Adam succeeded where his brother Alan was rejected. They're fickle. And these bastards become known as the Dragonseeds because they're born of Dragonseed. So they call the tryouts the sowing of the seeds. It's a couple of dozen people. It's nearly 70. Ultimately, 4 people succeed in claiming new dragons. The 2 of them they never managed to. So sometimes we talk about the Dragonseeds in general, referring to all these Targaryen bastards who came forward, but more often than not, we're referring specifically to the 4 who succeeded as the Dragonseeds. With that context, what news do we have from these spy photos? Unfortunately, not many specific details. We knew that the Dragonseeds were coming in late Season 2, given that the Battle of Rook's Rest is confirmed as Episode 4, and 4 out of 8, and that this happens in response to that. They go, we really need new riders. This war is going to be pretty heavy now, that the scale is increasing. We need the riders now. Otherwise, from these photos... Oh, shout out. The spy photos were obtained by Twitter channel House the Dragon's Brazilian channel. He's been really on top of being in contact with all the spy photo reporters on the ground. I didn't originate these. They're from House the Dragon's, credit where credit is due. And they are from Landwin Beach, which is the southernmost point on Anglesey Island. It's an island, but it's connected by bridges to mainland Wales. It's the northwesternmost point in Wales is Anglesey Island. This beach is like the southernmost point of that island. The nearest town is Newborough. I'm looking all this up in Google Maps. What do we actually have from these? So we knew there was activity on this beach. We saw a lot of rowboats coming, and we didn't know this could be anything. Then we started seeing that a lot of people in the rowboats have silver hair, silver wigs. So my guess is that the Dragonseeds go from Dragonstone Castle to the other side of the island by rowboat, where the dragons are nesting around the volcano that they nested inside. Other than that, we don't really have clear images of most of them. There's one really good zoomed-in shot, but we don't know if these are major characters. You can see, this is the point of this video, there's more than 4 of them in this shot. In this sequence, that there's one close-up that shows like 4 people, but there's more than 4 in the entire sequence. This is a problem that we had in Season 1 spy photos. Remember we were all poring over May of 2021, the spy photos from Driftmark. It was Lena's funeral at Driftmark. And we kept wondering, every extra we saw, we scrutinized, is this a major character? Is this at least a named character? And unless it was like the children, we couldn't really tell. Is this someone specific that they've created? And more often than not, they were extras. That unless it was blatantly obvious, okay, this is Olivia Cook, okay, this is Steve Toussaint, he's a head taller than everyone else. Really, we were fishing for it. So, same thing with like the Caceres shoot with the street riots. If we can't tell, is that a minor lord or is that a named character? So the thing I want to stress is I'm not jumping to conclusions that these are any specific characters. A couple of people have already been going, maybe this woman with black hair is Nettles. I'm urging caution on that because this isn't a clear photo. That I think the wind might just be blowing her hair around because Nettles is black. And I really can't tell what skin color this woman has. That it's the optical illusion of there's so much black hair, but when you zoom in isolation, is it just her face is in shadow? This isn't a clear photo to me. So, and on top of that, Nettles is young. Nettles is like a teenager, and I can't really tell from this. So I'm not sure if this is Nettles. On top of that, even if it is a black woman, maybe it's Marilda of Hull in full costume. Alan and Adam of Hull's mother. I can't really tell from the photo who this actor is or what they're not looking at the camera. So, all we've really learned is, yes, they are filming the Dragonseeds sequence, but we haven't matched up actors. One giant exception. The tall man here is very clearly Kieran Boo, who, if you've been following my channel, has been on our radar for quite some time. First we thought maybe he's a new Kingsguard, then we thought maybe he's the new commander of the Gold Cloaks in King's Landing, because we heard he was filming in King's Landing, and the new commander is infamously very tall. He is this very broad, tall, well-muscled actor. He plays medieval warriors, he's played Beowulf, he plays tough cops in this 1800s cop story. I saw he has this demo reel on his website, it's really good, I'll link it, where it's like him, and I think it's a Renaissance-era show where he's torturing and interrogating a man. He is this really imposing, menacing that I can see him playing a huge warrior-type guy. This is clearly him. That the first thing you do is you go, okay, this isn't just an extra, this is a named actor, a major career actor, that if we saw a black girl of roughly 16 to 20 and went, oh, I know who that actress is, she's not an extra day or a day player, this is a career person, we go, okay, that's probably Nettles. But until such time as we can identify an actor, we can't really do that. But in this case, with Kieran Boo, and he's famous for playing very tall, very imposing people, the obvious conclusion many people have already had is there's a strong probability he's been cast as Hard Hugh Hammer. Hard Hugh Hammer is one of the 4 main Dragonseeds. He is a blacksmith's apprentice. He is described as a huge man, wields a warhammer, not unlike Robert Baratheon, and he's strong enough to bend steel with his bare hands. And I always mentally picture the Dragonseeds as teenagers, or young adults, because that's, what they tend to go for in shows like this, of the, get the young adult crowd. But Only some of the Dragonseeds they really mention what their ages were. Like, for plot reasons, like Adam and Alan of Hull are teenagers, and Nettles maybe too. They gave an age for as a teenager, but I checked, they never actually say how old Hardhuhammer was, or one or two of the other ones. So it's more important to get this really physically imposing guy rather than, oh, I'm a really tough-looking 18-year-old. That this is a mountain of a man. He looks like, look at the demo reel, he looks like he could snap you in half. Very imposing, dangerous guy. And odds are he's been cast as Hardhuhammer, who claims the dragon Vermithor, the big one that you saw Daemon rousing for the tryouts at the end of Season 1. The second biggest living dragon after Vhagar, who used to be the mount of old King Jaehaerys, the King's Dragon. So he's going to be a major figure in all of this, as one of the major pieces on the board. That is the one piece of news in this, that I think we've identified that Kieran Boo is Hardhuhammer. Nettles, I can't tell if this is Marilda of Hull at a bad angle. So, not too much. It's nice to have photos, but they're not very detailed photos yet. Please like and subscribe, because for all I know, tomorrow we might get another set of spy photos from this same shoot at this location, giving us really clear looks at their faces that we can then match up with actor databases to find out who's been cast as what. Another issue is they might have changed around some of the Dragonseeds a little. I mean, they changed up Viserys and Helena. Maybe they've altered some details about them for this, because the whole unreliable narrator thing. Not necessarily a bad thing, it's just they've shown they can do that. But in predicting, like, are they going to condense some of them? We don't know. We don't think they're going to condense them because they gave a full list of how many dragons there are. They would have listed fewer if they were condensing characters together. Or are they going to put a twist on some of them? We shall see. Please keep checking back. We're in active filming again with spy photos potentially any minute.